Hi, it's me, Chio. Welcome. So, a few weeks ago, I talked about critique partners. I also talked about how to find critique partners, how to find the right one for you. But today, I want to address something a little different. I want to go into if critique partners are even right for you in the first place, if they are right for everybody. Now, I stand by what I said before. I think critique partners are extremely important. They help you through so much from the technical parts to the emotional parts, mental parts of the whole writing and publishing process. But I feel like some people might rush into getting critique partners when they aren't ready for them. So I want to address why they might not be right for you, at least not right now. This is also kind of like a personal take on the subject matter. For me, I have gone through looking for critique partners in the past when I was still a new writer looking to get published. And I found that the way I understood what critique partners were not exactly what was presented to me, and I didn't know how to navigate that space, especially as I was sorting through figuring out what type of critique partner I needed. If I was supposed to find other people in Nigeria because we understand each other in that sense, or if I was supposed to find people outside Nigeria because they were writing the types of books I was writing. So it was such a struggle trying to find the right balance, and I had to take a break from finding a critique partner because I didn't want to find somebody who at the end of the day was not a good fit, and it would have kind of been a waste of time. So in order to not let you waste your time in that sense, I'm going to be talking about 6 reasons why a critique partner might not be the right fit for you right now. The first reason, which is not a big deal, but I'm still putting it on this list anyways, is timing. Like I said, when I was ready to find a critique partner, I wasn't sure who would be the right fit, and it was very difficult to find the right kind of fit for me, and I ended up wasting time. So I had to stop at some point, take a break from it, and just focus on just improving my craft on my own. So timing is very important to finding critique partners. You might be ready for the next phase of your writing and publishing journey, but the people out there available might not be ready for you. Finding a critique partner is something you do actively, but there's also the passive part of it where you're just talking about your writing and someone else can approach you. So if that happens, good. But if you know that you're in a space where you have to actively search for a critique partner, I'll suggest that at that time a critique partner is not right for you. If you can't find somebody that meets your criteria, if you can't find somebody that understands where you're coming from, understands the kind of book you're writing, I think take a little break from looking for a critique partner and just focus on your craft. There are other steps you can be focusing on, like the beta reading process, just learning more about writing, also trying to understand yourself more, because sometimes you come into it confused. You come into it thinking this is what you need, but you realize that's not what you need. So if at that time you can't find somebody that fits what you believe to be your criteria, then don't waste your time searching at that point. Take a little break. Now, this is not a always take a break if you can't find somebody. There is the aspect of putting in the work to find a critique partner. You're supposed to do that. But there's some times when you just know that because of the mixture of everything, like all things, from the writing to the publishing to the location to the type of story, like all of those things are not easy to find the right fit, and you're still in a space of trying to understand it, then don't put that stress on somebody else by confusing them when you say, oh, I want this, that, and then they can't meet up. So yes, take a break until you're sure this is what you can focus on and you know exactly what you want to focus on. The second is when you're used to feedback from just family and friends. And I'm putting this here. All the reasons I'm putting are kind of like, it depends on you, but you have to understand yourself more before you put yourself out there in that sense. So when you're used to feedback from family and friends, they understand you better, so they know how to give you the advice you want, and you're in your comfort zone. It's always good to step out of that comfort zone and look for opinions of people that will be more objective when they are giving you critique and advice and all of that. But not every single writer in this world has published their book after finding critique partners. Some people only rely on those close to them because they trust them better. And if you're the kind of person that just trusts the people in your circle better, then good for you. Just focus on using the advice from them. Don't bother looking, like, you don't have to bother looking for a critique partner if these people close to you actually can give you reasonable advice. They're like, in the past, a lot of people did not have critique partners. In fact, a critique partner is a term that I would say in the publishing industry is fairly recent. If you know for sure you can't trust an outsider with your work, maybe because you're used to very specific approaches to things and you don't think somebody who doesn't understand your quirks and all of that can meet you on that level, or if you are afraid of your work being stolen. It's rare for a writer to just up and steal someone's work, but things like that do happen. So if you're like overly cautious, you can learn to step out of your comfort zone, but check yourself, know if this is something you're ready to do. Don't throw yourself in the ring and you can't handle disappointment if that happens. So just stick to those around you who you're more comfortable with, if that's where you are. The third reason is you already have a very supportive beta team. And I say this because I got my last book published without the use of a critique partner. And it's, as I think I mentioned this in one of my previous videos on this subject, a critique partner and a beta reader they're not the same thing. They approach the work from different points of views, but sometimes you're lucky enough to find a beta reader who has been in the publishing industry or who is good at editing or something. So their advice can be as skilled or almost as skilled as a critique partner. So if at the time when especially if you're in self-publishing, if at the time when you are estimating your publishing to be, and you only have beta readers who can give you good feedback on your work, then at that time, a critique partner would not make or break your work. It is still good to look for a critique partner for the next time around, but if you have a sort of deadline you've been given or you've given yourself, then work with what you have. Your writing only improves with time, so don't force something that doesn't exist at that point. Be grateful for your beta readers. Use their services. Hopefully the services will provide the amount of feedback or the type of feedback your work needs. So yes, if you have a lovely and supportive beta team, sometimes you would not need to rush into getting a critique partner. The fourth reason is you might not have the skill set required to reciprocate the effort of a critique partner. And this one's I think it's a very big deal, because sometimes we are ready to receive the criticism, but we don't give it. But that is like the whole dynamic of a critique partner relationship. You both give each other. But if you're not the kind of person that can explain your thoughts, if you're just going to say this is good or this is bad, then you're not really helping them. You have to be someone that's willing to dig deep, look for detailed explanations to things and give them, because they are putting so much effort to help you. You have to do the same in return. You have to learn how to teach. You have to learn how to give advice. So work on that. You can start by going through your own work or critiquing other books published, seeing things you could have changed, like highlighting stuff, maybe giving people around you to read how the feedback comes across, if it's explanatory enough, if it's objective enough, if it's too harsh, if it's too soft, things like that. Learn how to give advice, learn how to teach. That way, when you become a critique partner, or when you get a critique partner, you will have the skill sets they require. You'll be able to have like that balanced relationship. Number 5, you are not at a level where you can receive critique. Now, people want to get feedback for their work. They want to know if it's good enough before they can take it before they can show it to a wider audience. And sometimes we feel like, oh yes, I just have to listen to this, I know what to change. But there are some people who come into it expecting to hear the best. They're looking for who will just praise their work and tell them they did the best. And it's always nice to have those positive compliments come your way. But the point of critiquing is to critique. So if someone looks at your work and they tell you that this character is annoying, but you meant to write a lovable character, Don't take it too personally, don't take it to heart. They're telling you their objective opinion on this character. Somebody else might find that character lovable, but if you get that from one person, two people, it's time for you to reevaluate what you wrote. You can't just be angry and say, oh, that's you read it wrong or something like that. So you have to learn to take critique. And I would say it's not the best to learn when you're working with a technical stranger. As I said before in my previous video, a critique partner is somebody that becomes a friend. But when you're starting the process, there's still like a lack of understanding of each other. So this person is someone outside your zone sometimes, and they are in that sense a stranger or just an acquaintance. So you can't be putting your negativity on them. If they give you the objective feedback, you can't get angry and start shouting or insulting or blocking or calling them out on social media and all of that. So you have to learn to take critique, and the first way to learn to take critique is by giving those around you, those who are already close to you, that might not be critique partners, just ask them, oh, what do you hate in this book? Don't ask them what they like, to ask them what they hate. That way they will feel more open to share with you the things they actually found problematic. And when you learn to take that, you'll be able to learn to take other people's criticism. Also, learn to critique yourself. When you read your work, like what I do, I feel like sometimes I'm actually a worse critic to myself than other people are to me. What I do is, after I'm done writing my story, before I do the redraft, I don't just start editing. I take my time to comb through my whole manuscript, and I leave notes beside everything, like, oh, this is too slow, this is too boring, this character is coming off, his personality is changing in a not a smooth way, all of that kind of stuff. I put all those notes for myself. So those are the things that people see as harsh criticism sometimes. But if you learn to do that for yourself, when someone else does it to your work, you understand better that that is just the learning process, that is the improvement process. So yes, you have to learn to take criticism before you put that burden of collecting feedback, receiving feedback from somebody and being harsh to them because you didn't like what they said on a practical stranger. If you aren't at a level where you can receive critique, then don't waste everybody's time. Don't go out looking for a critique partner. Work on yourself. And the sixth and final reason is you haven't honed your writing craft. Now, throughout your writing career, throughout any career, you keep growing, you keep learning. You don't become a master of it overnight. You don't become a master of it even before your first published book. You keep working on your writing, and hopefully as you keep releasing books, they keep getting better. But there is a point but when you're still a novice at something, when you're still a novice at writing, you shouldn't be looking for a critique partner. One, because when you're looking for a critique partner, you're looking for someone at the same skill set as you. It would be a disservice to them if they were way above you in skill set, so you're not giving them anything useful, and to be a disservice to you too if it was the other way around. So when you are looking for a critique partner, you have to look for someone at the same level as you. But if you're a novice, then you have to find another novice, which is almost pointless, because if you both don't know what to critique, if you both don't know the technical aspects of how readers relate to certain things in the story, then you're going to be wasting each other's time. You're going to be teaching each other from what you don't have. So at this stage of your writing, you're not supposed to be looking for a critique partner. It's supposed to be looking for a mentor. Now, a mentor is somebody who is stages above you in the writing game. Basically, they understand the craft of writing. They've published successfully. They published well. They understand the whole process better than you do, a good number of steps above you. So in this essence, your relationship is not a matter of they are teaching you and you are teaching them. It's not a critique anymore. It's mentoring, because they are not gaining any book knowledge from you or writing knowledge from you. What they are getting from you in this aspect is financial, because most of the time you have to pay a mentor to mentor you. So when you're still new in the game of writing, most likely before you've published your first book, you should be focused more on finding a writing mentor than a critique partner. So I use these videos as my opportunity to mentor people. I also do mentoring classes. So if you are interested in being mentored, if you're an aspiring writer who haven't published your work yet, I will leave the link below to how you can get in touch with me for mentoring. I've been working as a mentor for 2 years now, so feel free to reach out to me, and I will look over what you have and let you know the kind of service that is required for your work. But again, critique partners are good for everybody, but they are not for everybody at the same time. So these are the 6 reasons I could think of why a critique partner might not be the right fit for you, or at least not right now. I hope that it gives you room to search yourself and know when and how to go into the whole process, so that you wouldn't rush into it blind. It's not enough to just know what a critique partner is. You have to also know who you are, what level you are, what stage you are, etc., to be able to handle the process well. So that's it for my video today. If you've liked this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe, and also share this video with as many people, as many readers, aspiring writers, etc., as you can. I hope it will be helpful to you, and I hope it will be helpful to them all. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.